Welcome to Blockchain Trends, live AMA series. I would first like to welcome our guest host, Crypto Ally, whom you are just about to hear about. Welcome, Crypto Ally.
Hi, everyone. It is an honor for me to be here and to have helped introduce these two great communities today. I'll be happy to mainly sit back and listen in for the most part, and although this isn't financial advice, please take note of the enthusiasm contained in the words you're about to hear. This is something that has been anticipated for quite a while, and I can personally attest to how helpful the team is. So please stay tuned to the end and have a chance at $75 worth of XUSD and $25 worth of BUSD. And with that, I'll pass it back to Dragon.
Yeah, thank you, man, for bringing this to our attention to this project.
Absolutely.
It's some very interesting stuff in here, and I'd like to share it with the community. Next, I'd like to welcome our guests from the team. We've got Crypto Carney and Punter today from the Pump Token team. Welcome to our community.
Hey guys, how are you?
Yeah, thank you very much, you guys. It's great to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of impromptu. I'm glad you guys found out about us pre-launch rather than post-launch, because then you wouldn't be holding your hand in your head and going, "Oh, why didn't I get in early?"
Yeah, man, absolutely. Very exciting. We've never done a pre-launch AMA, so this is very new and very exciting.
Well, so is Pump Token. We've never done a token that's pairing its liquidity 75% with an ever-increasing stablecoin before that constantly affects its price to go up, and it can never go down. So it's an experiment, and we're pumped to actually see what this is going to look like on a chart.
Yeah, man, I don't think anyone's ever heard of XUSD, at least in this community. Can you give us some insight on what that asset's about and how it's going to reflect in your token?
Absolutely. It was created by a gentleman named DeFi Mark, or you may know him as Safe Moon Mark. He created the XSurge environment, and in order to fund it, he gave to the world of blockchain and to all of us great DeFi lovers the world's first immutable, decentralized, 100% backed stablecoin that has no shareholders, no dev wallet. It just exists in the blockchain as the world's new greatest decentralized bank. And the fact that it can never go down, well, it makes the most sense to make it a backing asset. Pump Token was founded by a man named Mike. He is the liaison for XUSD to Pump Token, and also the founder of Pump Token. Himself and our other mates, Color Tones and Toshiba, founded the organization. And then once they realized what this was going to be themselves, they went out and created a super band. We have three guys on the front end: myself, Crypto Carney, Crypto King, and also Jeremiah West. Today we have one of our number one fans and one of our moderators, Punter, who really understands XUSD, and he'd be happy to explain the mechanic for you to let you get an understanding. It's quite a Pump is a very simple token. You're going to learn, but XUSD is the utility behind it, which makes Pump the world's first utility rewards token, where the utility comes out before you even worry about the front end of the token.
Yeah, I can give a little explanation about XUSD, and it'll seem a little strange, a little confusing at first, but then once it all kind of clicks into focus, I think you'll find that it's actually beautiful in its simplicity.
I dropped buytherise.com into the chat for everybody as well, Punter.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind heading over there just to be able to look it up and down, we may potentially reference some of the materials therein. So
for our video users, hold on. For our video users, the link's going to be in the description. Buy the token. Okay. All right, continue, Punter. Sorry to cut you off.
Okay, no problem at all. So we are in a strange age in crypto history, with the fallout that we just saw from Terra Luna and their algorithmic stablecoin UST. It's a little bit understandable that people are kind of wary when they hear things about a new stable coin and especially when you say a stable coin that can only go up. It really it can kind of get people on edge, and I totally get that. But XUSD is not an algorithmic stable coin. XUSD it has its value backed by collateral, real collateral that is viewable by anybody at any time and accessible by anybody that holds XUSD at any time. XUSD, the contract is out there on the blockchain, and you can call it to mint an XUSD token for yourself at any time. In order to do this, you simply have to send BNB to the contract, or you can use the DApp through the website buytherise.com. When you send your BNB into the XUSD contract, the contract will convert it into the two stable coins of choice, USDC and BUSD. These are two stable coins that are audited federally, and we know that Binance Peg and Circle both have actual dollar reserves to support their stable currencies. So these stable currencies, they sit inside of the contract address as if it were a wallet on the blockchain. And those stable assets exist as the collateral for the XUSD tokens that are minted for you and sent back to you. Never at any time was a single XUSD token minted or created without collateral being provided for it. And anybody who has an XUSD token and wants that collateral back can simply sell off the XUSD back to the contract, which will burn it and return the collateral to that user.
Wow.
So there could never be a bank run.
So what you're telling me is that you interact with this wallet, no DEX required, no exchanges required. You just interact with this wallet, you send BNB, and it spits you out XUSD into your wallet. That's insane. I've never seen an asset like that before in my life, where you just interact with a wallet that's completely decentralized. That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah,
it gets
absolutely. There's the contract itself. It just sits there and holds. At this point, it's a pretty large
I dropped the
quantity of
BSC
stable coins
for everybody to look at. You can just do the drop down. You'll see that it's 50% backed by USDC, 50% by BUSD. The funds are just sitting in the wallet, doing their thing.
Wow, and it's deflationary, so it rises over time. That's nuts.
Exactly. So every time that you handle XUSD, a little bit is taken as a fee. So when you do mint XUSD in this way, you have to pay a 0.75% fee. And when you sell it back to the contract, you pay a 0.25% fee. An additional 0.25% fee anytime that you transact it otherwise. Anytime that XUSD token changes hands, there is this minuscule 0.25% fee. And with those fees being deducted from the total global outstanding balance of XUSD tokens and getting fed back into the contract, the total weight of all of the collateral in the contract that exists to back the outstanding quantity of XUSD tokens is always rising. Whether you are buying, whether you are trading, or whether you are selling XUSD tokens.
Now, if you've gone to
There
that
is
website, buytherise.com, guys, you'll take a look. You'll see the starting price was $1. It's now at $1.1853. That's the lowest you'll ever be able to buy it for. And you'll see that chart that's always up and to the right. Well, that big spike there on April 9th, that was actually a whale selling. Buys and transfers increase the price of XUSD. Sells increase it exponentially.
I like to joke that chart just kind of looks like a green staircase. It basically is. There is no function that can be performed that would cause the price of XUSD to go down. Perhaps more precisely stated, there can be no function called upon for XUSD by anyone that would not necessarily cause the price to rise. The only thing that, you know, wouldn't cause the price to rise is if you're just sitting there holding it. If everybody was sitting there holding it.
Actually, no, that's not true.
Right. So the thing is, it can never have zero volume and be stagnant. Because of the sort of market maker liquidity pool structure that Pancake uses in their archaic, at this point, legacy technology, and the limitations of coin market cap and some of the other charting software, being unable to see tokens like XUSD that have an internal liquidity pool rather than your traditional market maker liquidity pairing. In order to show a chart, a small pool had to be created of XUSD paired with BNB. And that really just exists to be a chart. And because it's paired with BNB, a volatile asset, well, the total value of that liquidity pool does go up and down. And so we needed a way to keep the price at parity. And so DeFi Mark over at XSurge has created a bot to run arbitrage on those two the two markets where you can buy and sell XUSD through the contract itself and through the Pancake Swap liquidity pool. So Pancake Swap has a 1.5% fee just for transacting on it, period. So anytime the price of BNB moves up or down such that it causes the value of that liquidity pool to move 1.5% off of the peg to XUSD's true value, the arbitrage bot has an opportunity to run, flash loan style arbitrage and transact XUSD to bring the price back into parity. And since BNB is always going to be going up and down, and this arbitrage bot is always going to be running, there's always going to be volume for XUSD, which is going to be steadily pushing the internal price or the true price of XUSD upward.
Nice. And that's called arbitrage as a service?
That's not the arbitrage as a service. That's actually the bot. That's its job is simply to create price on the actual chart. There's another bot that's doing some fun things, but this particular bot, because it's part of the global bank, we'll call it but that is XUSD. Its full job is to just simply create that price, but the arbitrage that wins that it gets, it adds back into XUSD into the pool to create price action.
Man, it is a really revolutionary idea. And how long has this been up and running again, if you don't mind? XUSD?
XUSD V1 started in, I believe, it was March about March of last year. February,
Okay.
March, April. Yeah, April last year.
Yeah.
They ran it, and it did well, and it worked on buys, sells, and transfers. It increased the price. Fabulous. But they realized, DeFi Mark realized that this would be better used as a utility.
Mhm.
And
Let's see, what was it, about
sorry,
2 months? About 2 months
November,
ago.
they've released the V2. That's right. So that video I dropped in the chat
Mhm.
was you'll see for XUSD. That gives you a good explanation of the internal market maker, how the internal liquidity pool works, all that good stuff. But the
Nice.
V2, he added utility to it, which allowed him to control and whitelist these bots to be able to use them as a service and increase function to XUSD, like a flash loan provider,
Yeah. Yeah.
like a mine, like the earn function, all of these things, including whitelisting of the actual XUSD contract to be forked and used.
Yeah.
There's a 10% fee to that, and he's happy to let anybody do it. But all things go back to the XUSD product, thus giving it a consistent, continuing APY over time without transaction of the token itself.
Man, sounds like there is a lot of utility, and people love to see that, there is a working product. And the thing is, as well, it kind of, to me, it just speaks to what brought me on as an investor, and a lot of people, is that original, just the idea of safe moon, to be able to moon safely. And to me, this honestly sounds really like, kind of the closest you could get to that, with its decentralized nature, the fact that anybody can interact with it, and in fact, it is truly increasing in, it's appreciating in value. And speaking of how you can just send BUSD directly to this contract and receive XUSD back,
No wallet connect necessary.
so that is really
So if you have-
revolutionary. And I don't want to cut you off, but I heard there was news on that front as well, where DeFi Mark has actually took a step even further and made things easier for everyone in the world. Can you guys speak about that?
Yeah, Cardi, go ahead and take it away. This is just brilliant. This man,
Incredible.
he
And
works quick.
yeah, so this really is an exciting time, and this is something you may hear hear here first. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's very interesting. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Basically, we were on a AMA with DeFi Mark, the creator of XSurge and XUSD, on Friday, and we had
Yeah,
posed the question for our it was on Twitter Spaces, and we had posed the question for Pump itself to be able to have that swapper technology that XUSD has, and he just very casually said, "Well, yeah, it's like 30 lines of code. Like, you know what? I'll just make a generator for it. Like anybody
Yeah, he
can
said
do it."
after the call he was going to jump off and spend like 2-3 minutes or whatever he said. Not
Yeah.
2-3 minutes, but literally a couple minutes.
Yeah, exactly. And he had gone ahead and at 8, are we finished our call at 7? He had another meeting at 8:08 p.m. There was a tweet that said, "Here, free to the world, the swapper contract generator. Any token in the BSC space can now have the function of send it money, and it will swap it with PCS for you, and then fire it right back to you.
You
So
heard
you
it
don't need to
here.
physically go to the DApp."
You heard it here first.
So the beauty of this is that if you have a cold storage wallet that you don't want to connect to dApps, you don't even want to connect it to PancakeSwap, you don't have to. You can still transact. You can buy and sell tokens that integrate this technology into their contract without ever connecting to anything.
That's crazy, and that's what I was actually thinking. I was like, you know what? That's going to be great for all of us crypto enthusiasts. But I was thinking that how are the newbies going to find out about this and use it, or people who aren't as tech savvy as us? Like, not to rag on the older generation or anything like that, but and it's awesome that you guys can provide that niche for XUS.
Absolutely. The uses are a bit niche at this point in time, but crypto is a journey that does require continuous learning because there's constantly so much change in this space that we just need to be able to hold people's hands sometimes and explain these things as they're coming out because you're kind of always on the cutting edge.
So I'm hoping people can understand why I was enthusiastic about trying to spread this information and just introducing these two groups, and especially right before launch. We know Pump is coming out soon. We'd love to hear more about Pump.
Absolutely. That's my favorite thing to talk about.
Well,
So
let me just real quickly hit on one more point that Ally made just a moment ago that's pretty pivotal in this time. Just about the safety, about the security of XUSD. I mean, the fact that you can look on BSC scan and you can see the contract, you can see the amount of outstanding XUSD, and you can see the total collateral value that's stored there in the contract in the form of Circle and Binance Peg. And within the code, if you look on bytherise.com, you can see just a little snippet of the code with some nice footnotes put in there. There's one little line in there that's just kind of, it's never relevant because, as I've explained, there's no way to transact this token that can't, cause its inner mechanics to raise the price. But one of the lines of code in there says pretty much point blank, if this transaction will not cause the price of XUSD to rise, fail the transaction. And that's just in there as a proof that, if these things didn't work the way that they're explained, this token wouldn't work. You couldn't transact it.
I just did. I did it like an hour ago. It works. It actually works. It's real. It's truly real. Actually, I believe that Dragon, you guys tested it yesterday as well. There was a bit of a reaction.
Oh, we had our minds blown. We've never seen anything like this before. Interacting with a wallet and sending a transaction to yourself, and the contract picking that up to send you either USDC or BUSD, depending on the amount. That was absolutely
insane. That's the wild part. So in order to buy XUSD, you send BNB to the contract, and it converts it. It mints the XUSD, it stores the circle and the peg, and then you have your XUSD tokens that you can hold on to, and know that you have the value stored there within the contract, and then it's going to be growing over time.
And it's
but in order to sell it back,
rather than fighting with PancakeSwap and our bot, which is not a good idea, as Punter says, it's a robot lawnmower that hasn't killed anybody yet. So you do this directly with the contract, you're getting the true value exactly to the price from the internal market maker of the actual XUSD wallet and contract.
But in order to sell XUSD, it's a little different. You don't send the XUSD back to the contract. You actually send XUSD to yourself. And when the XUSD contract realizes that what you are doing is it's called a self transaction. If you ever send a token to yourself, on a BSC scan, if you look at a transaction, it always has like the little in or out, depending on if it's, currencies coming into your wallet or going out of your wallet. Well, if you ever send something to yourself, it's labeled with a little gray rectangle that says self. So whenever the XUSD contract realizes that an XUSD token is involved in a self transaction, it intercepts and burns the XUSD tokens at that point, and feeds the collateral. Usually, it's the USDC is sent out to the person.
Okay. And so make sure you have that imported. is, and I want to be real clear, real quick. I just want to be super duper clear. So basically, we're saying that if you want some XUSD, you don't have to go to PancakeSwap. All you need is the contract address, and this is going to be the same for Pump
Never
Token.
go to Pancake.
Not only that,
Never
but
go to
DeFi
Pancake.
Mark, just a couple days ago, has made this functionality for everyone and anyone in the world. We can now all circumvent PancakeSwap if we want. This is huge.
Well, you're not
definitely.
really circumventing it. The swapper contract will just interact for you. You don't have to interact with the DApp. Now, in the case of XUSD, this is a fully decentralized function for XUSD. The script and swapper contract that Mark wrote is for other tokens to be able to mimic it. But it still does go through Pancake because other tokens don't have an internal liquidity pool yet.
Yeah, I want to be super clear about that. You know, because it is a huge innovation.
The contract basically will act as a proxy buyer for you. So you don't interact with PancakeSwap, you interact with the contract, and the contract does the buying. And
so no slippage. You don't got to worry about a lot of the things that people commonly have to worry about these days.
Yeah, and you can always ejector seed all your beans out to XUSD if you see the market about to take a crash because you know it's going to go up.
And I argue that's a big thing that is standing in the way of onboarding. You know, a lot of crypto, people that are on the fence about crypto. So this again could be huge, especially if we are able to explain it in the best possible terms.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's great that XUSD it's directly reflective of its treasury. Right, because as you stated, it mints a XUSD when you send the BNB to the contract. And then once you make a sell, it actually burns that XUSD and sends you directly a BUSD or USDC to your wallet. So effectively, it self-regulates itself with its treasury. That's the best way to ensure that your stablecoin is backed 100%. And you can see the proof in the pudding on chain.
Actually, 120 to 140% backed.
Because if collateralization. You think about it, that's crazy.
As people sell, not only would if everybody sold all of the XUSD tokens, the price would still continue to rise. So the last person to sell would not only get their full value of their original collateral, they would get the best price on XUSD.
What happened with Terra's UST was an attack by an entity that had accumulated in massive amounts of over-the-counter trades a very large quantity of their algorithmic stablecoin UST, and then dumped all of the UST that they had accumulated at once onto the market, forcing it off of its algorithmic peg and basically destroying its value and in turn destroying Terra Luna's value. In the case of XUSD, nothing like that can happen. I would invite anybody to try. The banks and oligarchs and institutions, if they want to give it a shot, if they want to try and accumulate a massive amount of XUSD over the counter and try and dump it all at once, please by all means, try us.
Sell it all now.
It's only going to make the price go up.
So XUSD is proven to work, and any project can utilize it and pair it. And so Pump is among the very first to do this, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. Pump Token is the first project, it's funny, a little funny naming structure when you get to step back and you see what we did here. DeFi Mark created a token called Useless, and that token was the first one to pair XUSD as liquidity. They did about 25%. It served one purpose. That was it. It was to see what it would do, and it interacting with XUSD continued to increase the price of XUSD and stabilize the backing of that particular project. So Mike, the head of marketing from XSurge, he came up with the idea of, well, why not use it as a pairing asset. It's probably the greatest thing you could ever pair your liquidity with. As the market fluctuates, as BNB fluctuates, we can actually take advantage of the market volatility by having only a quarter of it there, and the other 75% maintains the floor. So as other projects are getting sucked down by the price of BNB and their backing asset going down, ours will not. We will be stable and continue to rise. So we can then focus on what we want to do as a project.
Incredible.
Yeah. No, Mr. King is with us. Hello, Mr. King.
Another great voice among the
Mr.
team
Crypto
here.
King, my cohort, my barbecue partner in crime.
Yeah. Awesome community.
Are you with
Awesome
us, King?
team.
That's it.
Yeah, so ordinarily in contract deployment, it's not really considered what the backing asset in the liquidity pairing when it's listed on PancakeSwap will be. I mean, the default just seems to be the native coin of the blockchain that you're on. So in the case of the BSC space, people will pair their tokens with either BNB or wrapped BNB, which for whatever reason PancakeSwap seems to prefer wrapped BNB. But either way, you're pairing your project with a volatile asset, and so if the price of BNB goes down, we see it all the time. The price of BNB will take a dive, and a project that has its liquidity pair to it, even if there's no cells at all of the by the holders of that project, the price will still dump on them.
You're kind of punished
because the value of the liquidity pool that they have stored on PancakeSwap goes down.
Yep.
And it's just kind of an afterthought for
We've all seen it.
most projects what they're going to pair with. But over time, I think it's going to become kind of the standard, especially in the BSC space where XUSD is already deployed, for XUSD to be the liquidity pairing asset of choice. And over time, XSurge team does hope to deploy the XUSD contract on the other prominent chains so that this technology can be used by the entire crypto space and not just be limited to the Binance Smart Chain. But
Exactly.
Pump token, by pairing our liquidity so heavily, 75% with XUSD, is going to be the flagship showing the world how valuable as a liquidity pairing backing asset XUSD can be. We're going to lead the charge.
It's been a pretty heavy secret, actually. I was the former voice moderator for Dev Team 6 over in the Moonforce, their launch pad, and we were working on this for 2-3 months while I was still there, and I didn't say a word about it because telling people about XUSD is going to be our primary frontline goal at Pump Token. And if we had started screaming about it before we actually were ready to buy our liquidity, we'd have just had to pay more. Because whenever you buy it, it's the lowest price it'll ever be. So if we were starting to get, if it had gotten popular for about to the narrative to shift to stable coins before the capitulation, we would have had to push the market very quickly. But since we are going to be the first to grab this much XUSD and then forward facingly take our pump starter project or our pump starter group, which is our treasury and our primarily front utility, to push the heck out of this, we're just going to be riding the top of an ever growing mountain of money that's going to be going up and up and up and up.
I wanted to say real quick too, the team remains really transparent. You can go and find the VC open all the time. And the other day I happened to hear you guys are talking about go ahead and fork away, like fork this all you want. I like hearing stuff like that. It's refreshing.
Pump Inu, Doge Pump, Lil Pump, Pump NFT, whatever you want.
Daddy
We don't
Pump.
care.
Baby Daddy Pump.
Baby Pump.
Yeah, sure. Baby Pump. Do it, and as soon as you guys are ready
Will
and you got your
pump.
we'll write the contract for you, and we'll help you with the marketing. If you need a logo guy, we got that.
Pam,
Because we want
go ahead.
to. It's a flattery for you to fork us, and they don't even have to be a fork. If you just have the concept idea to bring XUSD as your backing asset, and you came with like
Yep.
a napkin drawing of an idea that makes sense, our pump starter is going to be there to assist projects to be able to do exactly what we've done. If you have a requirement for funding for KYCs, audits, etc., we're happy to help for a fee, of course, because the idea is with our pump starter, we're going to use what's called our collective intelligence to be able to make decisions on potential trends, new projects, anything that we can do to innovate, because we have the freedom to focus forward because our backing asset is doing its job. You got to understand with XUSD that 0.25 tax for transfers is heavily affected by issuing XUSD as a reward. That's pump tokens methodology for rewards, is we're going to issue straight based on taxes XUSD as rewards for those who are staking in our DApp. So tokenomics are 12% buy, sells, and transfers. 6% of that 12 is going to go directly to into XUSD rewards. Now, every time we have to buy or sell, somebody buys or sells a pump token, what happens now is that because of those taxes, our contract is having to go buy XUSD with pump, then distribute that XUSD to the holders. So that's two interactions. That means that the price went up twice for every user, every holder of pump, every buy and sell that we have. This creates a massive super pump on the price of XUSD that's never happened before.
Especially if this is for
Well, also
so
transactions
you guys are
of the
pumping your own liquidity, is what you guys are saying. You're pumping your own liquidity, not only by your token, but your starting tokens that will also pump your liquidity as well. So the more tokens you have on XUSD, the higher your liquidity goes, thus the price.
Yes.
yeah, it kind of pushes the floor price. I mean, pump can go up and down because it's just subject to your regular market maker liquidity.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, as the amount of pump that's out there, there's going to be 100 million tokens. If a lot of those suddenly flood back into the liquidity pool, the ratio is going to go heavily towards pump, and the price will go down. XUSD is going to slowly and steadily rise and raise, sort of a hard floor price for us, which will be nice. But XUSD can't. Well, I mean, it's not going to give you the overnight crazy moonshots that people always want. Their 100,000 X's. XUSD. It's slow. It's plodding. It's methodical, and it will just continue to rise and rise. But you're not going to wake up an overnight crypto billionaire. Pump token can do 100x. It can do 1,000x. It can do 10,000x.
XUSD substantiates that. Go ahead.
Yeah, XUSD is going to help us get there.
Yeah, pump is
but
a simple token.
Being first to the scene with this kind of a aggressive XUSD liquidity pairing, it means that anytime any other project comes online from here until the end of time that pairs their liquidity with XUSD, it's going to benefit Pump Token. It's going to benefit all projects before them that paired their liquidity with XUSD.
So the faster you're in, the faster you get the benefit. And our job at the pump starter is going to be going and finding as many opportunities as we can to either help this project come on board if they have unlocked liquidity, show them the difference, and also with XUSD and XSurge on their side, pushing their arbitrage as a service, or as we call it, AAAS. That's going to continue to pump the price of XUSD. So this is coming out again. This XUSD V2 only launched on April 1st, and we're the first project to come out big with it. There's 3 other projects that currently have the arbitrage as a service running. One of them is called $1 Million Baby. They have an ARB bot that is currently generating them $145,000 a year for the project just through arbitration and market volatility, protecting their own liquidity pool from being sniped. Not only is our backing asset going to ever increase in value, we are now protecting our liquidity from being drained from bots and snipers. They will get wrecked because we just have a little dangling pot out there to let them play with. Pump is
that's a great thing to
go
hear.
up without buys, sells, or transfers because we have volume with our ARB bot doing its thing.
Because XUSD has this internal price that Pancake Swap and the rest can't read, we have to set aside that 25% pairing of pump token with BNB in order to generate a chart. But as a nice feature, the volatility of BNB in that portion of our liquidity pool pairing is going to create opportunities for our own ARB bot to transact. And so it's a feature, not a bug. And our arbitrage as a service, or pump
that ass,
is going to continuously provide us volume even when no holders are transacting with pump token.
And the killer tokens in the space, they're all volume dependent. Even with tokenomics, they're volume dependent. Pump is not necessarily volume dependent. It'd be nice, but we're going to have it look like we have constant volume, which is going to attract eyes of those that are looking for things in a technological fashion. TA guys, they're just going to be in awe at what this token is going to do on the charts.
Incredible.
And that is going to create buzz. It's going to create interest. So Pump is a simple token. And as I like to say, it's an S coin sold by a carny on the internet. No one would want this thing. But then when they join us in the voice chat, they read a little bit, they do a little research on it, they all of a sudden start to get that holy shit moment, which I believe you guys had yesterday, that this is now the future. And with 50% of our taxes going to rewards, 25% of our taxes going to marketing and development, and the other 25% of our taxes going to our pump starter, we are a forward-facing revenue-generating business with a memeable front-end look and a community that is going to outlast anybody in the BSC space, because we're here, we're honest, we're attentive, and we don't have to worry about anything other than our community moving the project forward, marketing it, and telling the whole world about XUSD and how this has just ruined the financial world.
Man, it sounds like this was ready to go. I think you were saying like a month ago, and you have just been gearing up for this day. Today is the big day, so Pump is actually coming out today.
You got it. Today, 3 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UTC, Pump will launch, and we will see that chart. And I would suggest we're going to be watching both our chart and we're going to be watching the XUSD chart, because we need to see what it's doing. we want to know what it's going to do.
Curious, we're all curious. So this is very exciting.
And because once we see that statistic, Ally, and we actually see what it's doing to XUSD in a 24-hour period versus the previous 24-hour period, we can then have some real data and statistics to mathematically apply what it would be like for us to look 3, 5, 15, 30, 100 projects down the road doing the same thing as we are to pump that XUSD up.
You can bet I want to implement XUSD if and when I ever create a token. And I got my hand raised. I'm right behind you guys. I love this.
We are the first, but we will not be the last. I guarantee it.
Pump starter, a little FOMO for me.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, I'm going to have to step out at this point in time.
No problem, Punter. Thanks, man.
No problem, Punter.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for hosting, and I'm a huge fan, so I'll definitely see you guys soon.
We're a huge Punter fan. You're a great service. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Punter, for coming on to Blockchain Trends. We'll see you later. So one of the burning questions I've had since you guys talked about your staking and rewards, so it's not an automatic thing. You buy Pump token and you get rewards. You actually have to stake those tokens. So my question is, What does the staking system look like, and is there any lockups involved, and or how long do you have to lock up for, or if there's any terms, fees, etc., that you have
Sure,
to do to stake those?
absolutely. So yes, we could have gone, and the actual initial intent was to go with a reflection type token just for simplicity. But you have to understand, when the idea first came about for Pump, it was literally just to be a next phase in the experiment. And then I was brought along. I was headhunted out of the VC that I was operating before, and I was able to start talking with the guys a little more about what the possibilities were. And I had seen the trend in the market where the reflection tokens were doing their thing. There's a million Titano forks, but they're all just fading off again. And so I said, well, with the value of what this project is going to do for the space, we should have a staking DApp. And this way we reward those that are actually participating in the experiment long term. Because this chart is going to look so weird, and it's going to have so many protections and traps on it for people that want to be able to mess with it by purpose, that they're just going to hold the token. They're not going to do any research. They're not going to realize that they should come into the ecosystem and take a look at it and look at what we're doing, and stake their tokens to be able to receive the XUSD rewards. Thus, a higher value of the rewards are received to those that are supporting the project overall. You will stake your XUSD in our DApp, which will be shown at around noon, 1 o'clock Eastern. So in about the next hour, once I jump off this, I'm going to go open our VC and we're going to start the party. There's a 5-day locking period with a 5% early withdrawal if you need to. We only did this because we wanted to evade any potential flash loans or any shenanigans that people might want to do with the token. It's 5 days is nothing in the case of a staking pool. And like I said, if you do need it, 5% fee to pull it out, which is we felt was quite reasonable. And then you will just claim your XUSD. And what you do with that XUSD is what's going to matter. I mentioned, as I mentioned, Xsurge, they've built their ecosystem around the fact that XUSD will only go up, and they've created utilities all abound for it to actually increase that pricing. As profits for all of these things go back, our arbitrage as a service is a service that they have at Xsurge, which we're going to apply to us. 90% of the proceeds are coming back to us, and 10% are kept in fees. Our pump starter is going to make some decisions on what to do with that money, but to apply that also into the staking pool and have another rewards pool there, or to add to the rewards pool there, would also greatly benefit those that are supporting the project and paying attention to what we're doing. So we love our holders, we love our traders, we love our stakers. With this token, you can trade it, sniff it, touch it, feel it, give it to your friends, makes a great stocking stuffer. It doesn't matter what you do to it. As the experiment of Pump exists, it's all going to help the price of XUSD, our backing asset, our treasury, and our rewards increase in value. So we want people to play with it, and we want to reward those that are supporting it long term. So that's why it was done in that fashion.
Yeah, sounds great, man. Great staking structure. And I think you said you had to go at noon, so we're gonna quickly wrap this up. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Pumps token seems like a very interesting project, something that you're definitely not going to want to miss, or at least look into. All the links will be down in the description below in this video for our video listeners. And I'd like to thank Crypto Ally for helping me host this one. And go check him out. The link for his Telegram and his channel will also be in the links below. Thanks everybody for tuning into this AMA, and we'll be doing our live giveaway shortly. We do live giveaways on our AMAs. We do at least $50. If you're interested, please go ahead and join our Telegram, Blockchain Trends Official. That'll also be in the links down below. Thank you.
Today, Dragon, remember, today though, we're doing $75 in XUSD and $25 in BUSD to celebrate the pairing of XUSD for the first time at 75% with a token called Pump. And once again, also thank you for having us. And those of you listening, we're at Pump Official Group on Telegram. The website is pumptoken.net. If you can join us today, please do. And also in the future, we are always open to the VC. Pump token is a simple token with a very complicated utility in the background, and it takes a little more to learn about it. And we're happy to be there. Everyone's happy to be there to help you understand the future of DeFi.
You said it best, man. All right, we're going to be doing our giveaway. See you next time, guys, on Blockchain Trends.